What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today I want to talk about a project that I've been working on for a little while, just for myself, but I figured I would share it with you. This is a custom Glock 43X that really highlights all the awesome things about the Glock pistols and really negates all the negatives that it has out of the box using aftermarket accessories. Before I do that, I want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. Because of you guys, I can get guns like this. I really appreciate your support. Because of that, we do cool stuff on the Patreon page. If you want to join the Patreon page, all you got to do is go on the link in the description of this video, sign up. Also in that description is links to a local shelter that I really like to support in Ames, Iowa. Link to the new t-shirts, and a link to the Gundies. The Gundies is an annual award ceremony. I'd really appreciate that you'd go down to the Gundies link and vote for me for best shooter and best gun reviewer. Stands in front of you is a lot different than a Glock 43X that you would buy out of the store. Not saying that those are bad. Those are excellent guns. I've carried a stock Glock 43X for a long time. This slide is actually my wife's. My stock Glock 43 is actually going to get milled from JagerWorks for a similar project that I'm doing. This particular one, I got the slide from Safari Precision, but you can go to their website and pick up these slides that are pre-cut for an optic, so you don't have to get your stock one cut if you don't want to, and you can always switch back and forth, which is what we had been doing for a long time. While I check the reliability of this. I also have an Agency Arms barrel in there. I wanted an aftermarket barrel because I just wanted to keep my other slide and barrel assembly stock. So I went with an aftermarket one. I trust Agency Arms a lot. Out of all the Glock companies, a lot of them make barrels that can affect reliability. I can't stress that enough. The way they lock up, the way the round hits the feed ramp. Do not skimp on an aftermarket barrel if you decide to use one. If you decide to use a stock one, stick with that. Almost all my builds, my Glock builds, I stick with a stock barrel because I know it's gonna work and I know it's not gonna change the reliability. Agency Arms, I've had about a dozen of these or so in my life, usually for threading purposes because Glocks don't come threaded, and if you want a threaded barrel, you have to get an aftermarket barrel. For this, I just wanted an aftermarket barrel, and I like the gold and black look-alike. I'm a Hawkeye fan. I'm from Iowa. There's a cheap one, a medium one, an expensive one. This is the medium one, the mid-grade, I believe. And those are some of the best barrels that I've tried as far as reliability goes, and they look pretty slick also. The Safari slide has a lot of things I like about it, and one thing I don't. With a carry gun, I'd prefer not to have this much open space, but what it does do is not really, it hasn't caused any malfunctions that I'm aware of. Most people that have ever had open top slides, like Beretta 92s, for example, don't have any issue with it as well. So overall, it doesn't bother me that much, but the one I'm getting from JagerWorks is going to be milled for an optic without having any holes in the slide. So there's options for it and against it, whatever you want. One of the nice things about the texture of the Safari Precision slide is that it is really easy to press check, which is nice because you don't want to be banging on your optic a whole bunch, you know, slamming it on the table and stuff like that. Unless you have to, of course, then obviously you can. It's a good lever point to run the gun, but I wouldn't make a practice of doing it all the time. Running the Holosun 507K on there, the reason for that is because it's an extremely small, extremely durable optic. I trust Sage Dynamics reviews a lot on optics, and he gave this a glowing review. This is the first one I've had, but it honestly has been working flawlessly so far out of the few hundred rounds that we have through it. I took the sights and turned them backward so I didn't have that stupid white line anymore, and then I took some of my wife's nail polish and I blacked out the front sight. Goes to show you don't have to have a lot of money to get a decent sight set up because they are lower 1/3 through the optic, all blacked out, so it doesn't take your attention away from the most important thing on this gun, which is the dot. So you can access that dot, squeeze the trigger without ever having to worry about co-witness sights getting in the way of your sight picture or distracting you or whatever, and you can do all that for pretty much free. Stock trigger in there. I like stock triggers in carry guns. If you have an upgraded trigger in yours, don't worry about it too much. There's a whole bunch of myths about running aftermarket triggers in carry guns. I have the Hive extended magazine release, and the reason for that is not just because it's extended, because I can reach the stock one pretty well. Glock 43 is pretty small, but it's because it allows me to run these metal Shield Arms 15 round magazines. So not only did I run the Hive magazine release on my competition style Glocks already, and I liked it a lot because it's extended enough to reach better, but it doesn't make it so when you grip the gun you accidentally dump the magazine, which sometimes extended slide release or magazine releases will do. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have any cons, all pros, and on top of that it allows you to run the metal magazines from Shield Arms, which allow you to have 15 rounds in the gun. This is an 18-ounce pistol, 15 ounces as seen right here. When I weighed it on my scale inside my house, 15 ounces for this gun that's big enough to shoot with, carries 15 rounds in a magazine if you have these shield arm magazines. Good luck finding these, by the way. Another thing that I did was undercut the trigger guard on the Glock because I hate the damn Glock knuckle trigger guard. I got the big old hands and they don't fit very well without that, so I do a little bit of Dremelin right there. And what I do when I do that is just strip the slide off, strip the magazine release out, and then I just hit it a little bit, round it off with a little bit of sandpaper, and then I threw on some Talon grips, very high-tech Talon grips there, $20 for a little extra grip, doesn't hurt at all. Last thing I did was I put some silicone carbide on the side of the gun here, which doesn't rub off in the holster. If you put some sandpaper tape or something like that on there, sometimes it'll come off eventually. Silicone carbide is essentially just epoxy with sand. So you put a little bit of glue on there with some painter's tape around it, sprinkle the silicone carbide epoxy, take the glue off, wait an hour and a half, and you have some good texture there to put your thumb, so you're not putting your thumb in front of the barrel. It just gives me a good reminder of where to put it, and it also adds a little bit of friction and texture to help me hold the gun in place, which is important. 15-ounce 9mm has a lot of recoil by comparison to, let's say, a 1911 and 9mm, so you have a little bit more there to control, so you're gonna need a little bit more there to hold on to as well. And overall, I'm pretty excited about the gun. Let's take it out and shoot it up close, then at distance, and see how it performs. All right, so one of the nice things about having a very popular gun is accessories, which we talked about. We added a bunch already. If you had something like an Hellcat, for example, some of this stuff might not be available. Something like a G2C or maybe a Steyr A2, something like that. One of the nice things about the Glock platform is you can get whatever holster you want. This is a holster I really like for the Glock 43. It's a Telluric group, and it's not made anymore. But one of the cool things about it is this little clip design here is designed for like mesh shorts, basketball shorts. If you do a lot of running, a lot of hiking, stuff like that, or you just like to run around without any pants on, this is a really good way to carry your gun without having to need a belt or anything like that. Because if you put it in there and clamp that down, I'm telling you, it's gonna hold that no matter what. It'll rip your shorts before that thing comes out. And I've done a lot of draw practice with this holster and basketball shorts, and it works really well. This is just a cheap old eBay holster that also works really well. This thing was $30, and I had to customize it a little bit to myself, but this is actually the holster my wife prefers. It works really well with the optic on the gun. And that's a really nice holster as well. Now, one thing you have to remember when you put an optic on a gun is that your holster has to be designed for it, or you have to own a Dremel, and then you can just cut your own. You don't have to pay $150 for a Raven concealment. You can buy a cheap little holster and it'll work just fine. That being said, premium holsters are also available, and this is one of my all-time favorites. This is one I got off eBay. I'm a stickler for deals, what can I say? I'd really like to pay full price when half price will do. And this is a T-Rex arms holster. Love the T-Rex arms design. One of the best drawing holsters on the market, and it allows you to carry a spare magazine in a spot that's easy to reload. So I wanted to show these a little bit. We're going to be using them in the video maybe a little bit, but it's awful cold out here, and I got the bare exposed belly, and I don't know if I want to be super cold, so we'll see how much drawing we actually do. But I just wanted to show you that not only is a bunch of holsters available, but these are some of my favorites. Getting warmed up a little bit. It's awful cold out here, and I haven't shot this gun for a little bit, so we're just gonna have a little fun here at 80 yards and just see what we can hit. Little target's harder to hit. It's almost like it's smaller.
Okay. Go.
Now that we're chilling at a more manageable distance of 50 yards here, I decided to do some draw practice. Common pistol distances.
Okay.
The gun has a 10-round capacity now. Pretty good for switching targets at 50 yards. Accurate little gun. Well, I hit that guy, but he just didn't want to fall over. Guess I'll have to get out the 7.5 FK. Alright, so I suppose we should shoot it in some concealed carry distances, being as that it's a carry gun. So let's move up to about 10 yards and see how fast you can go. Pretty quick.
Oh, ended on a miss. Dang it.
Well, what do you think?
Well, it's my carry gun, so I like it.
What do you like about it?
I like that it's small enough for my hands,
Yeah.
but big enough to not have too much snappiness or recoil.
Yeah, it's a weird gun, right? It's very
Yeah.
small, but it doesn't have that much snappy recoil. Not like a P365 or a Springfield Armory Hellcat. Both nice guns, but they're definitely more obviously snappy.
Yes.
And I think the reason for that is because the Glock 43X obviously has a bigger grip. Not by a lot if you actually put them head to head. Nothing compared to like a Glock 19 or a 1911 or something like that. It has a little bit bigger grip, and for me that's easier to hold on to, and it's easier to shoot very quickly.
Yep.
And I really like the feeling. If you've ever seen my G43X review, we obviously took it out a lot more than just this. And I got that gun moving awfully quick when it wasn't, 20 degrees outside.
It's pretty cold right now.
Yeah, it is. But very, very fun gun in my opinion, very functional gun. And when mine gets here from Jaegerworks that doesn't have the slide cuts in it, and it'll actually have an RMR CC on it, that'll be a cool video that we can do as well. But this gun is so good, I had to do a video on it, even though it's yours.
Even though it's mine.
But hey, what can I say? Maybe some people
like
will copy
shooting
your
my gun.
design.
I mean, I can't carry a 1911.
It's true. You
I
can't.
mean, I can't. That would be visible, but
yeah. Would that be your first choice, probably, like an Atlas Gunworks or something, if you could?
Obviously, I would carry an Athena if I really could make it work. But
yeah, but everything is a compromise of size and weight versus
and price.
functionality. And this is a really small, lightweight carry gun that you can carry on you all day, and you don't have to worry about actually having to shoot it quickly or accurately if you actually need to use it, because it can do those things. Now, one of the things about small pistols is that they're much harder to shoot regardless of what they are. And it takes a lot more skill to shoot a very lightweight gun with a heavy trigger than it does to shoot a heavy gun with a lightweight trigger. Something like an Athena, for example, that's 48 ounces or whatever the hell it is, and it's got a 2-pound trigger, whereas that's probably got more like a 7 or 8-pound trigger, and it's 15 ounces. So it's much more difficult to accurately hit, so you're just gonna need to practice with it is all. And be careful when adding a lot of aftermarket accessories. When in doubt, always stick to stock. However, if you want a red dot on your gun, Safari Precision seems to be a good way to go. But remember, when we start adding slide cuts and things like that, and you start messing with weights of recoil springs and all that lovely stuff, you can make a really high quality gun really unreliable really quickly. I've got a lot of experience in the customization category of Glocks, so I kind of know what I'm doing. However, remember that when you start customizing your guns, reliability can only stay the same or go down. It can't go up. The most reliable gun you're gonna have is right out of the factory generally. So they can help with accuracy, they can help with speed, but always remember that you can affect reliability, and reliability is the most important category of a gun.
Especially when it's your carry gun.
Especially when it's your carry gun.
Because I wouldn't know how to
clear the malfunctions that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I were literally trying to defend my life, I would die.
Yeah,
probably.
Like the Springfield Saint we shot yesterday, and it had so many malfunctions and so many weird malfunctions that if that happened to you while you were trying to use that in defense, you would be so screwed.
I would probably just try to beat them with it.
Yeah, well, at least you'd have a rifle there and you might be able to pull that off. But with this little handgun, I mean, it's a good thing that they are reliable as is all I'm saying. And just remember to be careful with customization, but it can help you. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle.
I'll check you later.